commutative property. The commutative property of multiplication simply means that it does not matter what order you multiply numbers in, two numbers together, you will get the same product or answer. So I wrote it out for you. You can multiply two numbers in a different order and get the same product. So example of this would be if I had 4 times 6. I could also do 6 times 4. What does that mean? 4 times 6 is 24, and that's the same as 6 times 4, which is also 24. So no matter how I write a number, in whatever order, I'm going to get the same product. We can try another one. If I have 2 times 8, I know that that is 16. But I can also do 8 times 2. And the reason that is because I have the same factors in both of the equations. And when you have the same factors in both equations, it doesn't matter which order you do it. It even works for addition. Like if I wanted to add 4 plus 2, I would get 6. But 2 plus 4 is also 6. So that is what the commutative property is. The associative property says that I could have 3 or more numbers multiplied together and continue to get the same property, or product rather. So again, I've written it out for you. You can have 3 or more numbers multiplied and get the same product. So for instance, I could have 3 times 4 times 2. And if I put 3 times 4 in parentheses, parentheses is a clue that you should multiply what's inside of those first. So if I look at this problem and I do 3 times 4 first, I get 12. So I'm going to take the product of 3 and 4 and multiply it by 2 to get the rest of the product. That was a partial product. So 12 times 2 is 24. So I can take that and multiply that together. So altogether, 3 times 4 times 2 is 24. But the associative property says I can take those same digits, and instead of doing 3 times 4 first, I could do 4 times 2 first. 4 times 2 is 8. So I can take that product, which is 8, and multiply it times 3. And of course, I know that 8 times 3 is 24. Often, you may see an associative property written out to show equivalency. So you could have 3 times 4 times 5 equals 3 times 4 times 5 with different things in parentheses. And that just shows you that it's the same no matter which way you add it. If you did a little bit of exploring, you would also see that that works for 4 numbers. So if I did 1 times 2 times 3 times 4, and I wanted to do 1 times 2 first, then I can continue 2 times 3 equals 6, and 6 times 4 equals 24. And it would be the same the other way. If I did 3 times 4 first. So 1 times 2 times 3 times 4. If I wanted to do 3 times 4 first, I would get 12. And then 12 times 2 equals 24. And 24 times 1 equals 24. So just showing that you get the same product no matter which way you multiply that together. And that is the associative property. I'm just going to show you a real quick bonus here. So right now I want to introduce you to something called missing symbols. So this is a math equation where the symbol is missing and you have to try to figure out what the symbol is based on what is in the equation. So in this first problem here, I have two numbers on this side. I have an equal symbol here, which means what's over here should be the same as what's over here. So in order to make this side equal 9, I have to do something to 4 and 5 to get it to equal 9. What could I do? Well, we know there's 4 operations. I could add, subtract, multiply, or divide. So if I try to add 4 plus 5 and I add that together, that will give me 9. So now I have 9 on this side of the equal symbol, and then I have 9 on that side of the equal symbol. So I've just figured out what was missing. In the second one, you can see I have 4 blank 5 equals 20. So over here, I need to do something to 4 and 5 that's going to make it the same as 20. So I know it's not addition because when I add it, it gives me 9. Subtracting would give me a -1. So 4 minus 5 would be -1, which is not 20. But I can try multiplication. 4 times 5 is 20. So my missing symbol would be a multiplication. In this third one here, we can see that we have 5 minus 4 blank 1. And so what they want you to do is tell what would go in this space. Now some people, you want to make this an equation. So an equation means that two sides have to be equal. If it was called something else, like in upper grades, it's called an inequality. But 5 minus 4 is 1. And so I know that if I take 5 from 4, it is the same as having 1. And this bottom one, really quickly, I have 6 plus 3 equals 3 blank 3. And so my job is to make sure both sides are the same based on the equal symbol. So I'm going to add this side. 6 plus 3 is 9. And that's what I need to make this side. So what can I do to 3 and 3 to make sure that it equals 9? So I could add it. 3 plus 3 is 6. So that doesn't give me an equation. It gives me an inequality. I could subtract and get 0. I could multiply and get 9. Or I could divide and get 1. So it sounds like my answer is going to be to multiply 3 times 3 to get 9. And so that is missing symbol as well. So